Have you ever considered what could happen if the sun decided to throw a tantrum? Now, this isn't just a flight of fancy, but a real, scientifically documented phenomenon known as solar storms. Imagine the sun, our familiar life-giving star, suddenly erupting with an energy equivalent to billions of atomic bombs. That's a solar storm for you. These storms are born from the sun's 11-year solar cycle, during which its magnetic field undergoes dramatic changes. The result? Potentially catastrophic coronal mass ejections, or CMEs. These eruptions can cause geomagnetic storms on Earth, disrupting our planet's magnetic field. Now picture this. Auroras, those breathtaking light displays usually seen near the poles, visible as far south as the Caribbean and Mexico. Compasses going haywire at sea. Telegraph networks, the communication backbone of the time, completely damaged. Sounds like a scene straight from a sci-fi movie, doesn't it? But this is not a work of fiction. This has happened before. One of the most significant of these solar tantrums was the Carrington Event in 1859. The Carrington Event, named after British astronomer Richard Carrington, began with a seemingly innocuous observation. On a typical day in September 1859, Carrington noticed a bright flash of light on the sun's surface. Little did he know, this was no ordinary solar activity. In fact, this solar flare was about to release the energy of 10 billion atomic bombs into the cosmos. The effects of this extraordinary solar storm were felt almost immediately here on Earth. It was as if our planet was wrapped in a cosmic light show. Auroras, typically confined to the polar regions, painted the skies as far south as the Caribbean and Mexico. Imagine, a night sky in the tropics lit up with the swirling colors of the northern lights. It must have been a sight to behold. But the spectacle in the sky was not the only evidence of this cosmic event. Even the most steadfast navigators were sent into a frenzy as their compasses spun wildly, thrown off by the geomagnetic storm. This disruption at sea was just the beginning of a series of unprecedented global impacts. Yet, amidst the beautiful chaos in the heavens and the disarray on the seas, little did people realize that the most significant effects of this solar storm were still to come. The world was about to experience a technological disturbance like never before, one that would underscore our vulnerability to the whims of our nearby star, but the most remarkable impact was yet to come. As the solar storm reached its peak, the effects were felt around the globe. The telegraph system, the lifeline of communication in those days, was severely disrupted. Telegraph lines were rendered inoperable, and powerful currents surged through the wires, causing sparks and even setting some offices on fire. The disruption was so extensive that the telegraph operators were left flabbergasted. But amidst this chaos, an intriguing discovery was made. Telegraph operators found that they could transmit messages not through the usual power lines but using only the auroral current. This was an unexpected revelation, a silver lining in the midst of a global disturbance. The disruption, however, was not limited to telegraph lines. Compasses at sea were thrown off, creating navigation challenges for mariners. The world seemed to have gone awry, a victim to the whims of the sun. And then there were the auroras. The sky was ablaze with an ethereal light show, the likes of which had never been seen before. Vivid accounts of this celestial spectacle filled the telegraph messages when the systems came back online. These accounts spoke of skies painted with brilliant hues, from the Caribbean to as far north as Mexico. The nighttime skies were illuminated with a surreal glow, turning night into day. The Carrington Event was not just an astronomical phenomenon, it was an event that shook the world, an event that highlighted our vulnerability to the forces of nature. The world had experienced a solar storm of unprecedented scale, a storm that had the power to disrupt our lives and our technology. In the aftermath, it became clear that the Carrington Event was the largest solar storm in the last 500 years. It served as a stark reminder of the potential havoc that a solar storm can wreak on our technological civilization. It underscored the fact that we, despite all our advancements, are still at the mercy of the celestial bodies that surround us. So, what would happen if a Carrington-class event were to occur today? Well, let us paint a picture. Imagine a world where our communication systems falter, power grids plunge into darkness, and satellites spin out of control. This is not a scene from a science fiction movie, but a potential reality if a solar storm of the magnitude of the Carrington Event were to strike us today. With our society heavily reliant on technology, such an occurrence could lead to widespread social and economic disruptions. The estimated cost? Brace yourselves. We are talking about a staggering amount in the trillions of dollars. Yes, you heard it right, trillions. This is not just about losing your Wi-Fi signal or not being able to charge your phone. It is about a complete breakdown of infrastructure from transportation to healthcare services that we take for granted in our daily lives. Now you might be thinking, can't we predict these solar storms and prepare ourselves? The truth is, predicting space weather is as complex as it sounds. Sure, we have made significant strides in understanding our sun and its cycles. We monitor sunspot activity, which can give us clues about the likelihood of solar flares. But despite our best efforts, predicting the exact timing and magnitude of these solar storms remains a formidable challenge. However, rest assured, the scientific community is not sitting idle. Teams of dedicated scientists are tirelessly working to refine our predictive capabilities. Organizations like NASA and the European Space Agency have spacecraft committed to studying the sun and its influence on the solar system. Their invaluable work helps us better understand these solar phenomena and hopefully prepare for them. As we look to the future, it is important to remember that our modern technological civilization is more vulnerable than ever. The advent of another Carrington event is not just a possibility, it is a question of when, not if. And when that day comes, the impact could be, for lack of a better word, catastrophic. With our modern technological civilization so dependent on electronics, the impact of another Carrington event could be catastrophic. The likelihood of another Carrington event is uncertain, but the potential is always there. Solar storms of such magnitude occur approximately once every 500 years. Yet, storms with half the intensity of the Carrington event occur every 50 years. These less intense storms still have the power to disrupt our modern technological society, albeit on a smaller scale. Our understanding of solar storms is continually evolving, thanks to the tireless efforts of researchers around the world. Scientists are persistently monitoring sunspot activity, a key indicator of potential solar flares and coronal mass ejections. Agencies like NASA and the European Space Agency have spacecraft dedicated to studying the sun, its tumultuous activities, and its influence on our solar system. Despite these efforts, predicting space weather remains a formidable challenge. The sun, in all its fiery glory, keeps its secrets well guarded. The future of solar storms, therefore, remains uncertain. So, the next time you look up at the sun, consider this. What if it decided to throw another tantrum? In conclusion, the Carrington event serves as a stark reminder of our vulnerability to the forces of nature. As we have explored, this 19th century solar storm caused widespread disruption across the globe, affecting telegraph systems and even igniting fires. Imagine then, the potential catastrophic effects of a similar event in today's technologically dependent society. Our reliance on technology has greatly increased since the Carrington event, and a solar storm of the same magnitude could wreak havoc on our modern infrastructure, potentially causing trillions of dollars in damages and disrupting our way of life. However, it is not all doom and gloom. The global scientific community is actively working to better understand and predict these solar storms. The ongoing research and monitoring of our sun are crucial in preparing for a potential future solar storm. These efforts are our best defense against the unpredictable and powerful force of the sun. As we continue to explore the cosmos, let us not forget the power of the star that makes life on Earth possible. The sun, in all its fiery glory, is both a giver and taker of life. It is the ultimate paradox. Its warm rays provide the energy we need to survive, yet its temper tantrums have the potential to disrupt our civilization. The future of solar storms may be uncertain, but our resilience and thirst for knowledge will equip us to face any challenges that come our way. So, the next time you gaze at the sun, remember its power and our perpetual quest to understand it.
Thank you for watching. Hope you found this video informative and entertaining. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment. We do like to know and hear your feedback. And if you have the means, please consider supporting us on Patreon, where we post bonus material. Till next time, this is Geeky Tidbits, saying cheers, and have a good day.